So everybody was assuming level 5 was coming, which in itself was not far-fetched because, obviously if you announce a new patch completely out of the blue, people are going to assume shit, right? People are just going to assume whatever the hell they want to assume. And then dropping a bunch of hints towards that, I feel like, because, you have good marketing and you have weird levels of marketing. This was good marketing if they wanted to allude to level 5, which they clearly wanted to, right? Like explosions, talking about fireball during the beginning of the stream and stuff. Like, for sure, that's stuff that's gonna allude to level 5. People are gonna think level 5 for sure. Fifth panel from hell and whatnot, that's just something you can't do, right? Because then people have hope and they're gonna watch the stream, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people watching the stream, but how many people are gonna actually play the game now? So UI change are great, right? But what I would have done is I would have been like, hey, some great change are coming. Straight up be like, hey, it's not, it's not level 5, but it's great change, right? The UI changes are super dope. Like, can I see just this image? Like the UI changes at the bottom here. Like, this image is dirty, like looking like that, but the UI changes are really cool. Like, if you look at the bottom, there's like all the filters of what you can do, all of your items that are like useful. You don't get to choose like, do I want to use my spells, my items, my action, everything like that. Like my Shadowheart UI was super clustered for a while, and now it's just much better, like definitely much better. So this is a really, 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 really good change. It's just not the change people wanted to see, right? So there's like the big changes. Wild Heart or Berserker, like Totem Warrior. I don't know why they didn't name Totem Warrior, unless I'm like out of the loop or something. I don't really play Barbarian that much, but the bear totem or something, right? I don't know why they didn't say that, but probably Wizard wanted to do something about it. And like the throw mechanic being updated, I took some note, right? Like the throwing weapon revamped, that's great. The UI revamped is awesome. The stealth, making stealth less good, that's dope. Like making stealth better in dark corners and then worst in the light, that's great. The item set, having like more emphasis on magic items, how they interact with each other and whatnot, that's awesome. The cutscene upgrades, that was very, very much needed. And the voiceover upgrades, like they changed the narrator, like that's huge. Changing the narrator is not something that's like super easy, right? So all of these change are super dope, right? The improvised weapon, great. Thrown weapon, dagger, javelin, and axe and spear. That means throwing rogue dagger is now back, and that's like something a lot of people want to do. That's something a lot of people like. So throwing rogue dagger is great, right? In the shadow, making stealth and exploration better. So basically, familiars are better, and stuff like that. That's awesome, right? You'll also know that we've improved dark vision. It's visualized in the game. Now controlling the character with dark vision, the area won't brightly lit as before. Instead, they'll see in the dark via a cone of vision effect, resulting in a more immersive feeling of exploration. That's sure, why not? Familiars are going to be great right now because of the new room portal system, right? Prior to patch 7, it was possible for players to see within closed off or unexplored rooms simply by moving their cameras. This meant there was no surprise when it came to enemy lurking behind doors, and ambushes could often be predicted before they happen. That's for sure what happened a lot of the time. Now you're going to actually need to use scouting essentials, right? Familiars, scrying spells, and stuff like that. That's awesome. In the future update, we have now introduced Portal, Blacken the Barrier, that, like, obviously this is gonna get worked on. The Blacken Barrier are not great, but that's gonna get worked on. New magical loot to boost your power in combat. More loot, just more loot. We've placed 24 new pieces of magic loot throughout the world for you to discover. These handcrafted items range from helmet and gloves to lightning charge trident, each of which should grant its owner an impressive stat boost, buff, or additional perk. That's gonna be awesome, huge. People love item sets, people love seeing what's the best thing and whatnot. The Amarath Maul, for instance, causes the warrior to deal 1d4 thunder damage in a 10 feet radius upon landing after a jump. Fleet Finger Gloves let a player jump after a dash without using a bonus action, and while more other items like Reason's Grasp are ideal for Barbarian, giving the warrior temporary hit points when they end their rage. We won't list all the items here, but there are there for you to find. That's going to be great. And then the huge HUD upgrade, which is obviously the big part of this patch, I think. Like, yeah, we can see it here, right? We can see it here a little. Whoops. Right? Like, you can actually click on the bonus action button, and it's going to show you all the bonus action you can do. You can click on the arcane power. It's going to show you what your arcane power does. You can click on your spell slot. It's going to show you like which spell of that spell slot you can use. That's all super awesome. That's all great. That's all perfect. Like, everything about this is great. I'm not going to complain about anything like that. Character sheets are now floating panel, which are kept open while playing. That's really cool. That gives you like the vibe of being at the table with your character sheet next to you that you can look at. That's something players of D&D are really into. You can expect to find a number of other changes on your screen: a round minimap, a vertical aligned party line, along with a newly refined tooltip for your viewing pleasures. That's going to be helpful for people who don't play D&D, who just want to play the game, right? So all these changes are great. Class-based spell animation inspired by a real-world motion capture. So they redid motion capture for a lot of things. Like for Ranger, we were inspired by the physical emotive natures of sign language and used a sign language speaker at our Malaysian studio to mocap their movement. That's really cool. When casting a buff, for instance, a Ranger will sign the word shield. For a wizard, on the other hand, we brought a choreographer to help design new casting animation based on fighter tutting, a form of 19th street dance that focuses on intricate finger work. So it's gonna be like Naruto. Does this mean that Gale is in fact a fan of 1990s era earthly hip hop? According to my personal fanfiction, yes, specifically Wu-Tang. Hey, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, alright? Improvement to nearly 700 cinematics, that's great, right? We won't see it now, but we'll see it at some point. Baldur's Gate 3 is looking darn good, and we can't wait for you to experience a new update for yourself. Of course, this post represents just a fraction of the improvements heading into the game this month. Check out our patch notes in full for a look at all the new content, improvement, and fixes, with asterisks noting changes and fixes that were direct result of feedback from the Baldur's Gate 3 community. Early access continues to be a key part of Valerian's development process, allowing to iterate and improve with feedback from our player and the best game possible. Our internal goal post for release is a quality bar, better than a date. A ton of progress has been made. So towards that quality bar over the past year in early access, but we know many players are waiting for an actual date. That date will come when we're even closer to meeting our goal. But right now, our expectation is that Baldur's Gate 3 will release out of early access in 2023. That means you don't really have that much going for you in 2022 for Baldur's Gate 3, except the rest of the things, but that's okay. A lot of people were sad about no level 5. I'm gonna speak about it because I'm one of those people, obviously. I think they did nothing wrong, right? I think level 5 is a big step. It's something that's gonna be needed to be tested as like a power level, but power level is something you can just change with numbers, right? You can give less AC to an overpowered enemy and it's gonna make him like 10,000 times easier to kill. Like if you drop the AC from 19 to 18, that's already a big buff you give to the players. You can give them more magic items that are gonna be suited to kill that enemy, right? If it's a lightning enemy, well, you give lightning resistance equipment or something, right? So balancing is going to be really easy to do when the game's done, and I understand that's not their focus, right? Barbarian was by far the easiest class to put into the game, so I feel like this update is just to change the UI because it's really something that we're bothering them, right? And that's fine to do a big update like that, right? Because you can't really just say a hotfix because you kind of want to explain what it's about. But I feel like the Barbarian is just something they threw in there to be like, okay, like last time we had a major patch, we did Sorcerer or something like that, right? Now this patch we're gonna do Barbarian, and that's just that not lazy, but I don't know. I actually don't know. It feels like they just wanted to change the UI. The Barbarian was easy enough to make, so they probably already had it made in their test build, and they're like, yeah, let's just throw it in there because Paladin is going to be the hardest one to bring up because of reaction and smite and everything, that's for sure. Monk with key point is probably a little bit hard as well because you kind of like put everything together. They really needed the new AI is gonna help the monk a lot, I feel, because there's so many things you can do. The bard as well, right? So they needed the new UI and people to get used to it before they released those classes, for sure. I feel like they purposefully marketed this thing to be a little bit like, a level 5 is coming, which to me isn't right in a way. I would have liked to see less effort going towards the fireball references and stuff. Maybe they were just doing it to be funny, but like in the pre-patch announcement, right? In the pre-patch announcement, and we're gonna take a look at this. But it's like, we're so excited for it to play, we could explode. That's obviously like something for the like exploding of rage, roar, but it's also like fireball explosion and stuff. They really hinted both the Barbarian and this, and as well like the 32 gig patch that hinted towards the patch 7 for sure. There's just so much, right? There's just so much, in my opinion, that they hinted towards the level 5. So that's why people are probably annoyed. But that's okay.